Was A Quiet Place inspired by Signs, It Comes at Night, and War for the Planet of the Apes? Was Ready Player One influenced by Avatar, Wreck-It Ralph, and The Last Starfighter? Is The Hurricane Heist more influenced by Sharknado or Geostorm? These are the kinds of questions my guest co-hosts and I discuss on my podcast, Piecing It Together. Every week, we look at a new movie and try to figure out what other movies inspired it. Whether it's the story, the character development, tone, or even use of music. Every movie was influenced by something that came before it, and we want to figure out what. Check out Piecing It Together on your favorite podcast app or check us out on piecingpod.com. You can also follow us on social media at piecingpod. Piecing It Together is a part of the All Points West podcast network.
I'm the hottest girl in school and
everybody wants me.
And everybody wants me.
Are you searching for adventure?
Twink, bear, cub, otter.
She was like a murdery Gorton's fisherman.
This happened in the movie?
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello everybody. It's your favorite day of the week, another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about movies on Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I'm Les Kurkendaal-Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kurkendaal-Barrett.
And hello, Kirk Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kurkendaal-Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
And we have...
And hello, David Rosen.
Yes, we have a guest today from the Piecing It Together podcast, David Rosen. Hello, David Rosen.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, you guys.
Thank you.
Our theme song is loud. There, keeps
right?
going. It's going. There.
I like it, though. Our revamped theme song.
I know, I like that.
So, David, why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Sure, yeah. Well, Piecing It Together is also a movie podcast. What we do on Piecing It Together is take a look at a movie through the lens of what other movies may have inspired it. And so every week I have a different guest and we pick a movie. Usually it's new release movies, although right now, of course, it's kind of difficult in the midst of everything we're going through. So we're filling in the gaps, doing some older movies too. But then we look back at what other movies might have inspired those movies that we are featuring for the conversation. And so it's a fun twist on the usual movie review format, and this way we can talk about a big list of movies along the way.
David, I'm sorry, go ahead, Les.
So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, David, I listened to your last episode, and I enjoyed it very much. It's cool. It's a really cool show.
Great, thank you.
But you guys are talking about a movie that sounded really like the concept. It's a Netflix, right? It's on Netflix, and it's a movie about a prison that has like 500 floors, and they lower food into it, and then I guess the food gets more and more disgusting the more further it goes. This is like I want to see this.
Yeah, I'm not normally a big fan of like, the quote unquote Netflix movie. I'm a big theater guy and all that. And, but this is one of the better ones I've seen. It was a very interesting concept, and, it's a foreign film, and they really put something interesting out, and great timing too with, everything going on, the whole very thinly veiled capitalism metaphor involved. So
is there a story to it? Is there are there characters, or it's just everybody fighting over this food?
Yeah, okay. Very little in the way of plot. It's more about the concept and about what happens to these people as they are constantly subjected. They're constantly switching levels. It's like, I guess they're like maybe drugged or something and switched levels every 30 days, and so get to experience life either higher up in the platform level thing of this prison, or lower down where they're just getting the worst and worst scraps as so yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So it sounds kind of like Ice Piercer or Snow Piercer. What was that movie called? Snowpiercer?
Snowpiercer. Yeah, a lot of people have described it as a vertical Snowpiercer. So
do people in certain prison floors have like requests? Are there vegetarians, or is it just like?
I don't think so, but when at the top level, the food is like some of the best looking food you've ever seen. So, you'll get a little of everything up there, but then
once you get to 496, it's getting a little grim.
Yeah. I don't think they're on different floors based on their. I don't think it's based on their dietary needs, Kurt. I think it's more on like classism.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Like the vegan floor,
Yeah. Oh, gluten-free.
vegetarian floor.
I guess it's not. It's not like a Blue Apron where they just lower ingredients down. People have to.
You joke about that.
Are they a sponsor on this show?
They're not, but what's funny is I saw a story because like everyone's trying to get creative in how they can be serving food from their restaurants or whatever, and there's a woman in LA that I guess she does like pop-up breakfast restaurants throughout the city, and she can't really do that anymore, so now she's making breakfast sandwiches in her kitchen, and you can buy order them online, and she literally lowers them down in a bucket from her 4th floor apartment in Hollywood.
It's just like this movie. It's coming
Right.
That's
Seriously.
exactly like the same thing.
I don't know if I'd be able to do that though, just because since it's so rampant. Like, how do we know that her kitchen is, above board?
How do we know anyone's
well,
is though?
Exactly. We're always, everything's a risk apparently. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Speaking of risk, does anybody have any Black China news?
China.
I do.
I have to have my China. And now, the Black China Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
All right. Well, this is from Inquisitor.com. Black China may have hinted that she wants to fight Khloe Kardashian on Instagram. This came out an hour ago. Okay. According to Paper Magazine, Black China hinted that she would get physical with Khloe if she was given the opportunity. Fans of the two women reportedly began to put the pieces of China's threat together sometime last week. While Khloe was live tweeting an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians last week, she reflected on the fact that she could, quote, demolish sister Kourtney if needed. In the episode, viewers watched as Kourtney and Kim got into a fight at Khloe's house. Kourtney then proceeded to yell at Khloe, which made her think Kourtney wanted to fight her as well. Khloe shared on her Twitter page that if she and Kourtney did fight, she would lose due to the fact that the sisters have a significant height difference. Khloe told her millions of Twitter followers that she is 5'10" and Kourtney is only about 5 foot tall. After Khloe posted her tweet, Black China left a message on her Instagram stories that shook fans. What about 5'2"? What about 5'2" was her comment, according to Hollywood Unlocked's Instagram post on Tuesday. Multiple comments under Hollywood Unlocked's page were left as China's fans assumed that she was talking about her ex, Rob Kardashian's sister. Now this is something I pay to see, one Instagram user shared. So a couple of things like that. Okay. One person said, LMAO, Khloe don't want the smoke. Multiple E's. A third. Well, so the person said that. While the comment may have been in good fun, Blac Chyna's issues with the Kardashian-Jenner family have been ongoing for several years. Shortly after Kylie Jenner began dating Tyga, who is father of Chyna's son, King, Chyna began dating Rob. The pair dated for a little over a year and were engaged for several months. The two also had one daughter together, Dream Kardashian. Neither Chyna nor Khloe has addressed the comment about a possible fight publicly. There we go.
So, I got a little lost in the weeds here at the beginning. Was this about the fight that Khloe and Kourtney had that was on the show that was in the news, or is there a fight being waged with Blac Chyna? Like somebody wants to fight her? I'm confused.
Oh well, no, it's that Khloe and what is it again? Who are these people? Khloe and Kourtney.
I know Khloe and Kourtney fought on the show. I know about that.
They had a fight, but then Blac Chyna tweeted and insinuated that she could fight.
Got it.
Because Khloe, as I said, Khloe said because Khloe's 5'10" and Kourtney's 5 foot, so Khloe didn't think she could take on Kourtney. But then Blac Chyna tweeted and said, "What about 5'2"?"
This is legitimately the dumbest bloviating I've ever heard.
Look, it's hard. I find this difficult to keep up with. And then you're asking me, I got to go back and explain it again.
And we're supposed to keep up with the Kardashians. It's in the name.
Right. Like, what about Blac Chyna's nails? Her nails are very important to her. What about her custody battle? Her getting into a fist fight is really going to, look so good for her custody battle.
Well, I'm pretty sure that David strangling Rob with the iPhone cable isn't going to help either.
True. By the way, David, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the thing I'm wondering about is these little bits, do they continue within the world of Black China, or does Black China forget about these particular beefs like from week to week?
Well, that's a good question. But I can tell you, we do Black China news every single episode, and I go on and do the search, and there's a Black China story. Usually, sometimes it's an hour old or a day old. It's constant Black China.
There's always something.
So I don't know if she keeps up with this. I don't know if she keeps up with
nothing to do with Hallmark.
No. I don't know how she got introduced to our show, but she's in it.
I feel like it was one episode where Les referenced her and you didn't know what Black China was, and Les had to explain it to you. So we just started doing news reports every week.
Yeah.
And somehow you took it on.
Yeah.
I probably did. Yeah, it's my fault. It's my punishment.
You thought that I was making up the name, but I'm like, no, Black China's a real person.
And her mom is Tokyo Tony, and they have a show on some network that we think might actually exist called Zeus TV.
Zeus TV.
No, I'd also like to call out Les Kurkendaal-Barrett on something because I listened to
What?
Okay, so Les Kurkendaal-Barrett has a podcast other than this. It's called Workplace Drama, right?
Yes.
So I recommend everybody listen to that. So I listened to it. And so Les has pivoted the subject matter to talking about Marvel movies. And Les truly is the king of transitions. Because I wrote this quote down, but I can't find it now. But it was something like, well, we're not going to be talking about people's jobs. No, we are going to talk about people's jobs, but I think we all agree the hardest job is being a superhero. And they start talking about Iron. And I was listening to this, and I was like, man, he is a master at transitions. It's like the entire concept of the show just changed.
How many movies in are you now, Les?
I'm a little behind on the podcast. I'm getting ready to start Thor.
The first Thor.
So, I'm getting ready to start Thor.
Lot to go. Yeah.
Iron Man, there was a makeover, so it was good. It was a fabulous sequel. It was good. Incredible Hulk. Iron Man 2. I liked it even better than Iron Man 1.
Really? Disagree with that one. Even David's kind of making a face of like, really?
I bet those movies they go in one ear and out the other. I forget them the minute I get home.
I remember thinking Iron Man 2 was
briefly remember liking.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
which one?
Iron Man 2.
Oh,
I kind of remember liking it, but I don't know.
That's exactly what they are. The movies just kind of watch and you forget about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Speaking of movies, let's talk about our movie. Now, it's had multiple names.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
First of all, David Rosen suggested this movie to us.
How did you find out about this movie, David?
So my fiance Gina, shout out to Gina, she's a photographer. Hey everybody. But she DVRs everything that comes on that freaking channel, and we just happened to watch it. I think it was in January of this year is when it premiered, and then we laughed the whole time. It was just like, this is one of the better Lifetime movies I've watched ever because it's just so ridiculous. And then it just seemed to disappear from the channel. I was going to rewatch it and I couldn't find it, and I had to do some Googling to find all these alternate titles and stuff. I'm not alone out there in the take for it. It's amazing.
And we ended up paying for it on Amazon Prime. It was worth the $4.
Yeah, it was. So this movie was it Lifetime makes most of their own movies.
I paid $5 and 32 cents.
Where did you rent it?
I'm a Prime member.
I just rented it, but they also charge tax on this thing also.
Oh.
I don't think I had to pay tax on my rental.
I did not pay tax,
tax.
and I also made sure I ordered it in standard def because I didn't need to pay an extra $1 just to see it in HD.
Oh, I may have gotten an HD. I may have gotten it in HD. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's worth it.
So the movie we're talking about.
I put it on my husband's credit card.
It's fine.
That's
What
why
do you
you
use?
have
Someone else's
that.
credit card?
I put it on my husband's credit card. That's why you have that.
He'll never know.
But, okay,
That's why you have husband's credit card.
so this movie is called. Its current title is Designed to Kill.
Yes.
But I think at some point, wasn't it? It has the structure of one of the Killer movies. So you think at one point was it called Killer or something?
No. So this wasn't made for Lifetime originally. It was originally made as a movie called Fatal Fashion, and it was sold to Netflix. So this is only available on Netflix for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then it was also called Deadly Runway for a minute, but then Lifetime acquired it and renamed it Designed to Kill. But this movie felt very much in the Lifetime wheelhouse. Like, it was a good acquisition for them, but they didn't make it.
Right. It follows the Lifetime structure.
Yeah, it really
does.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so, all right, so we start off. We're in New York. There's a photo shoot. There's a guy with great abs. And then they show the photographer. And who is the photographer? Sarah Horton from Days of Our Lives. Yes. And Sarah Horton from Days of Our Lives is going through it right now. Because on Days of Our Lives, she is going through it because the baby that she thought was her baby was actually switched with Kristen Demara's baby. And the reason that the babies were sick in the first place was because Sarah Horton was in a car accident and she was hit by her mom, who was drunk driving in a blackout. And she just found out, she's going to find out next week that the baby that she thinks that her baby is, who she paid to get a bone marrow transplant with, is not her baby. Her baby's dead. So anyway.
Now, at what point do they challenge Black China to a fight?
Yeah. Because that baby's got to be, how tall?
Right.
That is okay.
So anyway, so she's taking her pictures, right? And all of a sudden, like the guy, the male model, gets a little cozy with one of the female models, and all of a sudden, Jennifer, who is the photographer, brandishes a knife, and she starts flipping out, right? She's going crazy. She's freaking out. And then we realize this is a cold open.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Like, right out of the gate, this movie is nuts because why was there a knife around that photo shoot? Like, I want to see a movie about the craft services person that's like, yeah, we need a giant knife to cut these Skittles.
It was
like,
a big knife.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It just left it laid out.
That's not going to happen again.
And just so you know, this movie was like an acting stretch for her because her character on Days of Our Lives is very sweet, very saccharine. So she's playing, so I guess this is basically like her monster or her what was the Halle Berry one?
Yeah.
Monster's Ball.
Her Monster's Ball. Yeah.
Right.
This is her Monster and Monster's Ball.
So this
Right.
would be,
And
this
Monster
actress
Banker.
is Monster Mash.
Right. This is her stretch.
This is her
so
Oscar
then we-
grab.
So we cut to 1 year later. So, see a mom, she's dropping off her son at school, and I look and her mom is Liza Colby from All My Children. So, the kid is like this total nerd, right?
Well, we know he's a nerd because he's wearing glasses and his patterns don't match, but other than that, there's nothing nerdy looking about him.
Right.
Well, he's an old school nerd. This is like, go back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Definitely a lot of 80s influence in this kind of nerd.
Yeah.
This specific brand of nerd.
Yes.
Yeah.
The nerds and the bullies, really.
Yeah. Well, he got a noogie. Like early on, he gets a noogie from a bully. I'm like, wow, back in 1988 here.
They basically just heckle him when he walks out of the car.
Yeah, like I wrote my notes.
Actually, I love I love as soon as he pulls up, somebody says, "Hey, he's here."
Like they've been waiting for him.
We're just waiting for him.
I did think it was funny because I'm like, I don't think kids bully like this anymore. They just do it all online.
No.
It's way easier.
This is back in the day, yeah. Right here. That old school nerd is here.
So then they're in their class, and the class is called Fashion and Photography. And so then there's a new teacher in this class, and it's Jennifer, the woman who was brandishing the knife from a year earlier.
She brandished that knife in front of a bunch of people at what seemed like a major photo shoot. How did the school not find out about this when they were, vetting her to hire her?
Like,
how is that not in the news?
Because don't they do some sort of check these days, like a background check?
At the very least, there should be like a police record,
right?
It was intense, but
like she was threatening someone's life with a giant knife in front of a room full of people.
Maybe there aren't a lot of photographers, like fashion photographer people, willing to teach at high school, so they didn't have a large pool to draw from.
They're like, she's kind
Maybe
of
they just look
stabby,
the other way because she's that good.
Yeah, she's stabby, but man, does she know how to shoot a photo.
I guess these days she's teaching from home.
Right?
Teaching online on Google Chats. It's much safer. Boy.
So she's a new teacher, and she starts the class, and she's telling the kids, tap into your creative side, tap into the creative side that you never knew you had. And then the bully, Trey, says some smart ass comment to him, and she gives it right back to him. She throws shade, right? So then this class basically is kind of like a Project Runway class, or like a RuPaul's Drag Race class, because then the fashion they start making their own outfit, right?
Yeah.
And then then as they're sewing, she's like, make up a look that you want. And then they have a full-on fashion show in class. And I'm like, where was this class when I was in school?
You know, it's weird. I wanted to call this out, but my high school, they did have a fashion show.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't have a class like this. I don't think I went, but they had a class like this. I mean, they didn't have a class like this, but they actually had a fashion show one day.
The only thing this class was missing was Tim Gunn. It was like a full-on...
Maybe Jennifer murdered it.
It was like... Maybe. So then they're doing like runway, and then I didn't get why she did this. There was a nerdy girl in the class too,
Caitlin.
And so all of a sudden, this bitchy girl, for whatever reason, throws her top at Caitlin because she says that it's too big.
Yeah,
not tight enough.
Right. Oh no, not tight enough. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So then,
she literally said, "Fix it, dork."
Fix it, dork. I'm telling you.
So then we find out the bitchy girl's name is Brittany, of course.
She's like, "I'm going to the arcade."
Yeah.
I like your designs, but get to work, you geek.
So then David, the nerdy guy, shows up, right? And he shows up and he's late. And then we cut to the nerdy girl is having lunch. Caitlin's having lunch. David goes up to join her. And then they're talking. And then the Caitlin is talking about how Brittany's a bitch. And
bitch.
Wow.
The shock on Kurt's face just now of like, how did I pull that out of my ass?
Who did that?
I did.
Fantastic.
It's Brittany, bitch.
We have guests. We're upping our game.
Yeah.
Very impressive. It's Brittany, bitch.
So then he's trying to ask her out, but she's not biting. And then
Well, he kind of puzzed out too. He started to ask her, and then she got distracted or something.
right. And Jennifer is watching this whole thing from the side. And so Caitlin goes because she has to go to French class. And then Jennifer approaches David and she's like, I have a client who needs a model. And he's like looking at her like, what the hell? What are you talking about? And she's like, you know what? This might help you with the ladies. And so then they have a makeover montage.
And we're barely 15 minutes into this movie. We're already on our second makeover montage, Les.
Yeah, Les
David,
loves it.
Right.
yeah,
Like-
Les loves a good montage.
And this goes all the way. This is like clothes and facials and hair. Everything's happening.
It's just the way I like it. Just
There's a lot
the way
of
I like it.
montages in this
Outfit.
movie.
Wait, but then I noticed, did you guys notice that as he's having his makeover, he takes his shirt off, but he's got like washboard abs.
He was washboard because he was young and skinny, not because he's necessarily working out all the time.
But still, those were like that. But considering he was supposed to be like this major nerd, though, I was like, wow.
Well, that's why I said it was sort of unbelievable right out of the gate. It's like, oh, they put glasses on him in mismatched patterns, and we're supposed to believe he's not good looking. It's like, well, he's good looking under all that.
Right.
So,
So then-
another thing about the looks that we haven't talked about yet is the visual effects budget that went into smoothing his skin out occasionally, but not in every shot. Did everybody here notice this?
I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah, some scenes he clearly has some, pretty bad, not to shame him or anything, but some pretty bad acne. But then there's scenes where they are clearly covering it with some kind of like filter or something like that, a digital filter. It's so strange.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when they would show him in some of the photos or whatever, he looked very smoothed out. But like in this scene where he's like shirtless, you can see like, and it's not even like bad acne. It's just like, it's HD acne. Like you see every pore, and it was just like a little bumpy.
And I think in this one, like the kids, like, 'cause you know how sometimes they get the teens, but they're really not teens. I think in this, the kids were pretty close.
He is. I looked him up. He's only 20, and they probably shot this like 2 years ago. So he was probably like 18 when they filmed.
Yeah.
So then probably he really did have, the acne. So during this makeover, which turns into a photo shoot, Jennifer is just lost it. She is just into this. Mm-hmm. And then she's doing things like, she has to take off her shirt. She kind of sticks her hand down his pants.
Oh yeah, there's like a tag in there, and she like reaches in for it.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's what she was doing. I wasn't sure what she was up to.
She was up to no good, basically. So,
whoa, boundaries.
So then, like he finishes the photo shoot, and he comes home, and even his mom's like, "Whoa, what happened?"
She's like, "The patterns all match."
Your father didn't look like that.
But then his mom is like, she's like, "Okay, who bought that for you? Who did your hair?" And I commended him. He was pretty good with coming up with the lie, because David, just so you know, I like lying. I like sneakiness.
I thought it was really fun. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I don't think it was on purpose, but like as they're talking about his clothes and he's at the refrigerator getting something and they had like a wide shot, whatever shoes they had on him in that shot were like 3 sizes too big for him. They must have like dressed him from like head to ankle and then realized like, oh, his feet are going to be in the shot and the sneakers don't look good, so we should change his shoes. He's wearing these like giant brown shoes that are huge and almost falling off his feet.
Yeah, those are the only shoes they had available probably at that moment.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Get the brown shoes on him.
So then we see Jennifer. She's looking at the proof. And then Jennifer starts getting a little busy with herself.
Oh, yeah. In the history of the show, we've never seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a masturbatory scene, literally.
Never.
Figuratively, we have. That was wild. Oh, we don't see that in Hallmark. We do a lot of Walmart now.
Occasionally in a Hallmark movie, somebody may do some crafting on their own, but that's about as close as we get.
That's right. Masturbatory as well, I think.
Wait, on Hallmark, they just started saying divorce. We saw our first movie where they actually said the word divorce, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So then it's the next day. He goes back to school. He's
with the same
nerdy
stupid clothes. Yeah, right. He's got the same stupid mismatched patterns. He had nice clothes. Now just keep wearing those.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on. She made you over. Use it to your advantage. And then apparently the photographer's very well connected because he's on a magazine cover.
Yeah, he's not even in a photo spread. He's literally on the cover of a magazine for his first photo shoot.
Hey, wait a minute. He's not just on the cover of a magazine. He's on the cover of Metropolitan Fashion.
There you go.
Right.
Which all of the kids in his high school clearly follow because they all know about it and are all talking about it.
I subscribed to that subscription.
I subscribed to that in high school. It was Cracked and Metropolitan Fashion. I was subscribed to those two magazines.
If there's one thing high school students do in the year 2020, it's read magazines.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of them had an iPad.
Yeah. They all had iPads. Did you notice that? They had iPads a lot throughout the movie just because it made it easier to show visually to the audience the things being really big. Because no kid is carrying around an iPad to all their classes in school. They're bringing around their phones.
Yeah. Right. So then all of a sudden, Brittany looks over at him and Brittany's like, hey, you changed. Mm-hmm. She walks over to him. She not only apologizes to him, she invites him to a party and then dumps her boyfriend all in 5 minutes. And then she propositions him for sex.
Yeah. She totally insinuates they're going to do it.
Relax. We can Netflix and chill.
Right. So then, of course, he's like, to Jennifer, he's like, oh my God, thank you. And she's like, oh, the clients loved you. And then she's like, hey, why don't you come over and take more pictures this weekend? And then he's like, well, thanks for the invite, but, I got to write a paper. And hot Brittany just invited me to a party. And then Jennifer gets all jealous.
Yeah.
And then she grabs a pair of scissors. And I don't know why she had a giant picture of Brittany in her.
I thought that at first too. It wasn't a giant picture of Brittany. It was like a screen, and she was projecting Brittany's picture onto the screen.
Got it. She takes that word,
which was really dumb. Yeah, because then she slashes the screen with Brittany on it. Why don't you just turn off the projector?
Yeah, just take that photo and Photoshop a mustache on it.
Yeah. It makes more sense to take it out of the projector than the screen.
Can I just say really quick, we skipped one quick thing I just wanted to mention. After everybody's going so nuts over his picture in the magazine, I think it's the boyfriend that Brittany breaks up with he's not buying it, and he gets mad, and he goes, "He's still a freaking blowtard," which I just thought was so good.
She called him a blowtard.
A blowtard. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I don't know what era that's from.
No,
that's a new one. That's from the future.
A blowtard. And the boyfriend is the boyfriend who, by the way, was supposed to be like 17, but looked like he was 40. You know,
he was definitely their Biff from Back to the Future. Like he was the stereotypical 80s sort of preppy blonde football player guy who's a dick to everyone.
So then she has a picture on her wall, and then we have a flashback, and we find out the picture on the wall is her boyfriend, and he's driving the car. She's fooling around. She's taking his picture, and they get into a car accident.
I see that.
And then they show him. And then they show him on the ground, and he's like dying and bloody. And then that basically is why she's crazy. And what I loved about this is instead of giving like the exposition, they just showed us, and it made sense.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous,
right?
I don't think that's why she's crazy, though. I think it's more like she was already crazy, and this is our first chance to see it in action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had to start.
So that was like her trigger.
I guess. I mean, because the guy in the car with her was really young, too.
Yeah.
She has a thing for teenage boys.
So then,
might have been just her first one or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the original, like the ground zero.
Yeah, ground zero of male models that she's going after.
And that crying scene was really something.
Especially
not going to win an
like, it looked like a war zone behind her as she was screaming, like with the flickering light.
She must have known. Yeah, she could not prepare for her crying scene. I think it was like after lunch. Hey, we're going to shoot that crying scene a week ahead of schedule. I can't conjure up any emotions. All right, let's just do it.
I almost picture her like picking up the boyfriend and they're like slow-mo running from an explosion.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Oh, so then she opens up her drawer to put the picture away, and we see she has a gun. Mm-hmm. So she means business. And then she tells Brittany, hey, you know what? I want to do a modeling shoot with you for Elle magazine, and you're going to make $1,000.
Which she said, what about Metropolitan Fashion? That's my dream. Work for them.
I don't know a lot about modeling, but I know, first of all, Elle magazine isn't just going to let some photographer pick who their cover model is. And also, they're going to pay a hell of a lot more than $1,000.
Right. But she knew that Brittany didn't know any better. That's why she's just like, this sucker, I'll just, So then she's doing the photo shoot with Brittany. And then she's like, so I hear you have a date with Dave. And then Brittany, for how old is she? 17. Brittany's already very jaded. Because she basically says she's using him to make her boyfriend jealous. And then she's like, all men want sex. And for a minute, did you guys think that that Jennifer was going to feel a little sorry for her? And like Jennifer was going to relate to her?
I thought she was going to push her off the ladder from the first second of the scene.
Yeah. I thought for a second that she and Jennifer might be able to connect because maybe Jennifer would see that like, oh, Brittany's kind of crazy like I am. Maybe we can kill people together. But then I was like, oh no, she's on a ladder. She's on a ladder.
Right.
She made up her mind.
Right. And so she, of course, does the classic, hey, Brittany, why don't you go up a little higher? And Brittany's already like, okay, this is weird. I don't like this. But
we should also point out the ladder is literally like right up against a ledge, like a balcony ledge in the school. So
right,
there's really no need for a ladder, but they've got a ladder. And there's really no need for the ladder to be right up against a ledge that one could fall over, but here we are.
So Brittany stands up. She goes one step higher, and then Jennifer gets on a chair like she's going to fix her hair, fix something, and she pushes her over the balcony into the quad. And then what I love about it is she had a suicide note all
prepared. Yeah. All written. I'm tired of being so beautiful.
She knew that plan was going to work wonderfully.
Right.
You know those people that have like greeting cards at home just in case they need them. We're like, oh, I've got some thank you. Like, I feel like Jennifer just has like, she's got some like rainy day suicide notes set aside in case she needs to off someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I loved about Jennifer, though. This is what I loved about her. Because then she goes and starts cleaning up the evidence, and she has gloves on, so they couldn't see her print.
Yeah, she's prepared.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I kind of like her.
Oh, I didn't notice the gloves
prepared.
in this scene. I noticed them in another. I didn't notice them in this one.
Yeah, another scene. Yeah, she's packing the gloves.
Yeah, this is like I wrote. My note was like, yes, gloves, no fingerprints. So it was like, oh, so then the next scene, there's like a vigil, and they're all paying their respect. And then
there's a memorial in a common room.
Right.
Kind of.
I think that might be a library.
Yeah.
Everyone just standing in a perfect circle.
Yeah. Because they shot another scene in this room, and I saw a wall of books at one point, so I think that was the library.
Oh.
And so then Jennifer walks up, and then she's walking away with her evil look. So then we cut to David's house, and his mom comes home. Now, did you guys notice David's last name on the check?
No.
Oh, wait.
What was it?
Is it a different last name?
Now, David, this plays into your podcast.
Okay.
Because David's last name was Doolittle, and Jennifer's last name was Higgins.
So, My Fair Lady and Dr. Doolittle?
Yeah.
But wait, is there a Doolittle in My Fair Lady, or is this Dr. Doolittle?
Patrick. Eliza Doolittle.
Oh, Eliza Doolittle. Okay, I see. Yeah.
Kirk.
All right.
I've never seen My Fair Lady, and even I knew that.
I've seen it. I do know. I know My Fair Lady.
Wait. Jason Bowers, you've never seen My Fair Lady?
Nope.
Oh my God.
David, have you seen it?
I'm pretty sure I saw it as a kid, but I don't really remember it very well. So
that was my first makeover movie, My Fair Lady. Because it's all about a makeover.
So you're
Audrey Hepburn, right?
The bar set very high, Les.
Yeah. I have seen it.
That was like, because I saw it when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and that was like my first makeover movie. It was that and Cinderella. Anywho.
Hey, just while we're here, David, have you seen Doolittle?
No, I
was curious. I have not seen it. I was just curious how that
the Robert Downey Jr. one.
Okay, what was it? Okay, so like.
Yeah, I don't know if I will say it.
I do know someone who liked it, even though it got abysmal reviews. I know someone who really liked it, so I'm kind of curious to watch it.
Now, David, quick question. So with your podcast, do you watch both good movies and crappy movies, or do you watch only good movies? Or
the good question. The majority of them are more so good movies, although we did just recently do an episode on Veronica, which I don't know if you guys have heard of, but that is from Glenn Danzig from the Misfits. He wrote and directed it, and it's absolutely one of the worst things you'll see all year if you watch it. We just did that one a few weeks ago.
And so basically, then you don't watch it until you're ready to do a podcast on it, huh? Or
Sure. Yeah. I usually keep it fresh. Watch it. Now, a lot of the movies, like we call it puzzle pieces, the movies that we're using as examples of things we think may have influenced it. I don't always. They're not always things I've watched recently. Sometimes it's just something I remember.
Right.
But definitely the main featured movie is something that I've just recently watched.
When you are doing a newer movie that's out in theaters, how are you taking notes in the theater? Like, do people get suspicious if you've got things out and you're like writing things down?
Yeah, I usually try to wait until the credits are rolling, and then I take as many notes as I can remember is what I was like thinking during the movie. That's
because I'm pretty bad that way. Like I forget. I'm forgetful, so I have to take like notes while we're watching it, and even then I'll forget.
I know. I got pages and pages of
during
notes.
this movie. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
I did too. This movie moves quick. Lots going on. You mentioned that movie. I know. I said you mentioned on your podcast. You mentioned that movie. They Live. That's such a cool movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If people haven't seen that, you should see it with Roddy Piper. It's like from 1989.
I saw that movie.
Yeah,
I saw that movie. Like I saw it in the theater. I think.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Roddy Piper. Yes, that's right. Because he had a little movie career for a minute.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So David's mother. All right. So I kind of half condoned this, but I half did it because she comes home and she opens his mail, and there's a $2,500 check in there. Now, the part that I condoned is the fact that okay, so she was a little nosy, but she could have easily like gone and seen that envelope opened it up, see it's a check, and like seal it back, and then put it back on the counter and be like, oh, so David, hey, so how are you guys? Do you have anything you need to tell me?
I was stuck on the fact that David's check for $2,500 was for $1,500 more than Elle magazine was allegedly going to pay.
Right. Sexism. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, modeling is the one field where women make more money than men.
It's sexism.
Yeah.
All right. So of course, the mom is like, what the hell is going on? Where'd you get this money? And then he fesses up that, and then she gives her monologue. I worked 2 jobs, and your dad's a deadbeat, and I'm working hard to keep a roof over our heads, even though it was a nice house. That did not look like a struggling single mother's house or what, She was, because she made it sound like she was really like barely paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. She works 2 jobs. She's a doctor and a lawyer.
That was a decent looking house. Okay. So then he says that the teacher is the one that like got him set up and all this stuff, and she's like, okay, did your teacher touch you? And she's ready to fight.
Well, yeah, because he hands her the iPad, which he had handy, and he's showing her like the photo of him on the magazine, and then she's just like scrolling through his pictures and lands on the one of him shirtless. Like, never let anyone scroll.
Right. Exactly. You grab that thing back. Because whenever you let someone scroll, it never ends.
No.
Ever.
Well, you guys, I'm afraid to ask how it ended for you guys.
So I have a good story, actually. I was in Vegas a few years ago with some friends, and this guy hit me up online, unsolicited, and sends me a photo of himself in a diaper. So I screenshotted it because I'm like, I got to show my friends this when they wake up. This is hilarious. Meanwhile, we go to lunch. My friend's parents were meeting us at this casino to hand off her dog dirt, which they had watched for the weekend. and I'm showing them a photo of something, and I like pass it over to my friend's mom, and then I realize what the next photo is, and I'm like, don't scroll. And she's like, yeah, I got you. Because she was going to see this picture of a dude in a diaper.
The more you know. Ding, ding.
I don't have that sound effect ready. I will get that for next week.
Oh, okay. So then they're at David. There's a photo shoot, and then David's back to his old self again, which I didn't understand why he was kind of jumping back and forth between looks. I never understood that.
Because I don't think he knows better. The character. The character doesn't know fashion. If he had known fashion, he would be dressing with matching patterns on his own.
True. So then he shows up at the photo shoot. He's late. He goes to zhuzh himself up. And
where'd they get these two ladies he's with? There's like two female models he's with all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're models.
All right. She's a photographer. She's doing a photo shoot.
Okay. A lot of work out there.
Wait, no, because the woman who came up to talk to her, who she hated, the woman was their agent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because, Jennifer's at the photo shoot, and this woman comes up from her past, who she hates, and the woman's his agent.
Yeah, Andrea comes up, she's like, how my girl's doing?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains that.
And then Jennifer hates her because, remember, at the end of the shoot, she gives David her card and offers to represent him. And so then Jennifer is pissed, right? And he tells Jennifer that Andrea, who was the agent, that Andrea offered to represent him. And Jennifer's like, don't you forget I created you. And then she gives him a contract. And he asks all the right questions. Can my mom look at it? Nope.
I think that was the only question he asked. Yeah. I don't know if that's all the right questions. He literally asked one question. He was rebuffed. And he's a minor and signs the contract anyway.
So as he's signing the contract, I'm like, no, he can't do that. It's not valid. Because, and all my contracts that I get, it always has the thing, if you're 18 or under, you have to get your guardian to sign it too.
Yeah.
So he was like 17. So he's signing the contract, and I'm like, that's bullshit. So then he goes home. And when he goes home, he walks in, and his mother is yucking it up with Andrea, the agent. Like, she basically stalked him, got his address, and showed up at his house. There's a lot of like middle-aged women stalking in there.
There is a real creepy element of this movie that we haven't really brought up. The fact that like all these women are involved with this underage boy.
Yeah.
And the movie isn't really that interested in that aspect either.
No.
It's never the underageness of him. It's always more of the, maybe the power thing, maybe the, just the fact that she's crazy, but it's never about the fact that this is like some 30-something-year-old woman with like a 17-year-old boy. That's
right.
That's not an interest of the movie, of the writing.
I'm a bit creeped out that the actors were this actual age. That's a little weird. All right. Anyway.
So then the manager's at his house, and I guess she does a great job with the mom. And this manager, like, she's legit. The agent, she's legit as well. And so, like, because the mom was like, can I think about it? And she's like, of course. And she's like, when I want him to stay in school. And she's like, absolutely. And then the mom's like, well, can I get a lawyer to look at this? And she's like, no problem. Like, she has nothing to hide. She's totally on the up and up, legit.
And And the mom says Andrea is an agent, not a school teacher. Ooh.
She's not wrong.
Damn. Because he has to tell them. He has to tell them he did sign. He already signed a contract.
It is pretty funny stance for the movie to take, though, just as a movie to be like, agents are more important people than school teachers.
Well,
according to Les. You have something to say, Les? You're going to make a statement? Or?
Let's just say my agent has been more for me than my school teacher, which the last school teacher I had was over 30 years ago. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
So then, he brings out the contract, and then Andrea, the agent's like, let me look at this contract. And then she's kind of like, this contract is shitty. And then she's like, who wrote this? You know? So then,
did you notice the contract was like all crumbled up too? It wasn't even like a clean sheet of paper that he kept nicely in his bag. It's like it clearly had been crumbled up into a ball and then flattened out because he's like, oh, I might need to hold on to this for a little bit.
Right.
Still might be legit. And I'll tell you what, those big giant checks, you want to see those big giant checks? There would be people wanting $1 million. Those are real. That's what I say. Appearance does not deflate the legality.
So then he's talking to, we cut to, he sees Jennifer, and he's like, Jennifer, gotta tell you, I signed with Andrew. And so then Jennifer gets pissed, right? So Jennifer goes to Andrea's house. Now, what do I tell people? If it's someone you hate, don't let them in your house.
No. Pretty good. And we've seen this scene in other movies.
Yes.
And we know where it's going.
Well, also,
don't invite them in.
What's makes this even more important that she shouldn't let her in is that Andrea knows Jennifer is crazy. She knows her reputation. Usually when this happens, the person letting them in doesn't know what they're in for. Like, Andrea knows what she's opening the door to.
Right. And then think about it. Like, what if she was a vampire or something? You got to invite them in.
Be the least of her troubles.
Right. Yeah, because that's true. Jennifer, like, you're right, Jason. Like, Jennifer knew the dirt. Like, all of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's like, you killed your boyfriend. You were taking pictures of him as when he was driving. You're crazy.
You pulled a knife out at that photo shoot where all those witnesses are. She literally said that.
Right. Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Which, again, the school should have at least,
in her head.
That.
Right.
Oh, because that's right. Because the knife incident happened in New York. And so this movie is taking place in LA. And then Jennifer was even like to Andrea, what are you doing in LA? Mm-hmm. So, you know, and you would think too, in photographer circles, it's probably a pretty small circle of people.
Well, especially if you're a highly renowned one, like she supposedly was. Like if she was shooting covers for, you know, Elle or Marie Claire or whatever it is, like whoever hired her for that shoot, the word is going to get around that like, hey, she's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Ansel Adams or someone would have, spread the word. I don't know if Ansel Adams is still alive, but
Ansel Adams. I don't think so.
No, okay, then she's safe from that.
So Jennifer gets pissed, right? And so she just grabs Andrea and just strangles the shit out of her.
Yeah, she likes to strangle people.
That's her thing. That's her expertise.
After she strangled her, though, Jennifer looked surprised, like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I killed her."
Well, okay, Andrea did not fight back.
Well, she was possessed. She was possessed by the 54th Street posse. So
Yeah.
I love this part.
Yes.
it wasn't Laura Palmer's dad. It was Buffalo Bill. So,
Yeah.
I love
same
this
mindset.
part.
Yeah, I fell in love
After
with
she
this movie
killed her,
during this scene. Yeah.
She spray paints 54th Street posse. I wonder if anybody from the actual 54th Street posse are sitting and watching this movie like, yo, man, what the hell? You got to throw us under the bus?
I just love that she freaked out, like, oh my God, I can't believe I killed this woman, and then immediately jumps to action, has like rubber gloves in her car at the ready so she can clean up the crime scene.
It's easy to find a killer. Go to 54th Street.
I'm here for it. I was like, this is the part. I was like talking to the television at this point. I'm like, yes, do it. Like, so then the next day, David is calling Andrea, and of course, she's not answering her phone. And
Now, Les, do you do this? Do you call your agent? Like, if you haven't heard from your agent in a while, do you call them, or do you feel like you're like bothering them?
if it had been if it's been a while, I do like call or shoot them an email just to say hi and check in. But I wouldn't do what he was doing because he was basically like stalking her and calling her. It seemed like he was calling her like every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would call. But he'd only been with her for like a day, so it wasn't like, he didn't even give it time. He hadn't even had his like headshots done yet.
Right.
David, do you have a cat or a dog?
I'm looking at that too.
I was mesmerized because
got-
there's this tail that just kept like creeping into the shot. It would be like this. It was just like a little bit coming in, and then it would go out. And it was a little bit that would come in, and it would go
the
out.
cat tail.
Oh, there she
there's a
is.
cat. There's a kitty.
I see her head.
Yeah.
There she is.
Yeah, at first I thought somebody has like a puppet or something, and they're pushing into the screen just so we could see that. But now I see I was like, oh no, it's a cat tail. And I see the head. It's cute. We should get a picture for our Instagram for that of that.
Yeah, right.
Get the little cat head.
Yeah.
It's great.
The cat head. So what was I getting? Where was I?
Left his messages for Andrea.
Calling.
She's not answering.
He's like stalking her. He's like stalking his agent. But here we go. Dun, da, da, da. So then he goes back to Jennifer, and then Jennifer's like, okay, see, I told you she was full of shit. I was trying to protect you.
You're just another candy bar in your purse.
Yeah, that's a good line, actually.
Did she say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just an extra candy bar in her purse.
Oh, yeah, she did say that.
I did like the way
that.
that Jennifer was passive aggressively offering David a job. She's like, I've got this job. It doesn't pay what the jobs that Andrea gets you, but it's something, and there'll be models there and blah, blah, blah. And like, at least I'll call you back.
Right.
Really throwing Andrea under the bus.
So then they have like a class fashion show. And I wrote, this was like Fashion Week, this fashion show.
It looked way
They
too
were not
professional.
messing around.
Yeah.
Right? Like, seriously, it was like a Project Runway, like, fashion show.
Yeah.
And then...
And a fashion show montage, Les.
Yeah, that did not escape me. That did not escape me. A fashion show montage. And that wasn't the last montage. So then they finished the fashion show. Of course, David's a hit. He's like the star of the fashion show. Yeah. His mom is there. And then, he introduces his mom to Jennifer. And the mom's like, can I speak with you for a second? Which is never good. And then she takes her aside and literally just like tells her off. If I find out you're messing around with my son, I'm kicking your ass, da 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 da. And then Jennifer grabs her by the neck and starts strangling her, like in the middle of like the school fashion show.
Yeah, it was an admission.
But then we find out that it was a fantasy.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Just,
I kind of wanted to see where the movie would go if Jennifer had done that at the school in front of everyone.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the thing is, to this movie's credit, they made it look like it was a legit part of the scene. Like it was legit.
Yeah.
So then David and his mom leave, and as they're walking to the car, Trey, the dick, the bad guy, just start tackling them again, and like the group of guys just start tackling him.
Yeah, so he says, "When are you going to have the sex change?"
And then Jennifer, like he tells Jennifer about this, and Jennifer basically gives him a pep talk, like, "You need to kick his ass," you know. And so then they're watching the news, and we find out that Andrea is dead.
I see dead people.
The sex change line reminded me of the movie Ed Wood, where Bill Murray's talking about he's going to get a sex change, and they're watching a sporting event. He's like, and it's going to be goodbye, penis. Sarah Jessica Parker, could you keep it down?
So then the next day, they're in the quad because everything goes down in the quad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the quad. Trey starts talking shit to David. He then pushes David down, and then you see Jennifer in the background, and Jennifer looked like she was about ready to go in. But then David stands up and kicks Trey's ass.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he kicks Trey's ass.
And
they break up the fight.
And they showed Jennifer and Caitlin, the nerdy girl, and both of them look super turned on in this moment. Like,
right.
Oh, look at David growing a pair. Yeah.
Right. So then they show Jennifer's like bandaging David up, and then Caitlin is like, hey. And then like the principal comes and yells at David and, you know, come to my office, you're in trouble. And so then it's just Jennifer and Caitlin. And then Jennifer looks at Caitlin and says, have you ever thought about modeling? And then there was another makeover. 2 makeover montages.
Yeah, before that.
In the same spot as
before that.
Right. In one movie.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Before that, Jennifer's like says, you know, she's Caitlin, I need to speak to you. And Caitlin says, if this is about my use of bright colors, I wrote that.
I want to imagine a world where in this class she gets docked a grade because they're like, it's just too colorful.
Right.
We're going to have to call your parents in. You've been using bright colors too much.
I realize it's an Easter display, but still too many bright colors.
Too much. You're on
so
probation.
Then, yes, we have another makeover montage. And then we have a modeling shoot, and I'm thinking, she's gonna kill her. And like the whole time they're having this shoot, I'm like, she's dead. Then her put on a negligee, and I'm like, she's gonna kill her in this negligee.
Well, first Jennifer gives her a beer to loosen her up. And then they show the table, and there's 6 empty beers, which means that Caitlin had at least 3 of those.
Yeah,
she's drinking all. Yeah, she's like the McKenzie brothers all of a sudden drinking beer after beer.
But I could see Jennifer being the type that she'd pretend to drink it and then like pour it out, like when Caitlin wasn't looking.
I don't know.
You know,
This
like,
whole scene is genuinely so uncomfortable.
It really is.
Because again, she's a teenager.
right.
Yeah. So like, well, okay, now put your straps down. Okay, now you're going to wear this negligee. Now you wear a towel.
And that's when I started getting uncomfortable too with the towel.
Like, what's next?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not going to end well.
I don't want to joke. It's really uncomfortable.
I didn't understand in the moment though why Jennifer had Caitlin posing like she was in this really cute dress and she hands her a baseball bat and a baseball cap. And I'm like, that doesn't really go. I don't understand what she's doing. And she had her holding the baseball bat in all of the photos with the negligee and the towel. I'm like, why a baseball bat?
Right.
That makes no sense. We'll find out more later.
So
Well, she does.
so then,
She gives her a mantra, which I'm going to start using this mantra. And here it goes. I'm the hottest girl at school, and everyone wants me.
Oh, yeah. Here, I have sound.
So,
Miss Higgins, I don't know what to say.
How about I'm the hottest girl in school and everybody wants me? Go ahead. Say it loud and proud.
I'm the hottest girl in school and
everybody wants me.
everybody wants me.
I just like that uncomfortable laugh at the end.
say that 5 times every night.
I'm the hottest girl in school and everybody wants me.
Everybody wants me.
and she was not wrong. So then the next scene, I got to tell you, you do want a manager like Jennifer, because the next day, once again, there's like magazine covers, and then there's a whole magazine cover montage where they're both like getting like on all these magazine covers.
Yeah, all kinds of. One is called Nightclub Central. Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
They should have gone really. They should have gone really off the wall. Had these people on the cover. Time magazine, Life magazine, like all the every major magazine. These people.
They're in like a Norman Rockwell portrait on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post.
Us magazine.
Man alive.
That's right. People magazines was beautiful people.
Highlight.
Everything. Yeah.
National Geographic.
Right. and then we see them, and then they're having like a bridal photo shoot, and then David, who's still clueless because he's a 17-year-old boy, tells Jennifer that he's falling in love with Caitlin because now they're both made over, they're both beautiful, and so they start they bond over their makeovers basically. And then we see David and Caitlin in the quad, and Caitlin gets a text, and it says basically, "Do you want to do porn?" And she's like, "No." But then when she returns the text, we see Jennifer looking down at the quad, and the text was from Jennifer. So then the next thing we see Jennifer walking into her studio, and she's got like this sleazy guy with a very hot body. Mm-hmm. And so, he's thinking, I guess he was like a hooker. He was like
I think he was a porn star. I think he thought he was there to shoot a porn, because everything he was saying was like, "Oh, like, who am I shooting with? Oh, am I shooting with you?" He's like, "I don't mind." It basically was like, "I'll whip it out. I don't care."
Right.
He said he wanted the craft service girl.
Right.
He was very amenable.
She's got a knife, though. I'd be afraid of her.
Right.
Yeah.
So then she tells him that, he's going to take solo photos, and she hands him a baseball bat. Right. And so it's like, uh-oh, I know where this is going. But that woman, he did have a good photo shoot, like flexing and stuff. We did have great abs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I know where this is going. So then she takes his picture with the baseball bat and takes Caitlin's picture and superimposes them together. And then we see the next scene. We see Caitlin and David. They're making out on the couch. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, they both say, I'm a virgin. So then the next day, Trey has the picture. Trey has the pic, and he starts heckling Caitlin, or he starts heckling both of them actually. Mm-hmm. And he shows him the picture, and it looks like a porn. It looks like a porn cover. And so then
like
Caitlin,
the lamest porn ever, though, because she's not naked, and she's not holding his penis. She's holding a baseball bat. Like it's not even a JCPenney catalog that's racy. It's literally just a photo of a woman in a towel.
But was there something they weren't showing us? Because I thought that too. I thought we must not be seeing something.
Even if Nick was naked, Caitlin wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's R-rated, not X-rated.
Yeah. I just like that the whole everyone's thinking was like, oh, this is going to ruin your career. Oh, you're a model and you're dressed scantily? That's going to ruin your career? Really?
Right.
What's her career?
As a model.
She was more clothed than a Victoria's Secret.
That's her career? She just became a model like yesterday.
She's on like 20 magazine covers. She's making $1,000 from Elle magazine.
Wait, you convinced me. Actually, I don't want to ruin that career either. Now I think about it.
Okay, so this next part I loved for various reasons. So Jennifer goes and Caitlin goes and confronts Jennifer, and she's like, "You tricked me," and Jennifer's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then Caitlin, because remember she's still nerdy, was like, I wrote it down. I have the date and everything. And by the way, this is going on in the middle of class. And so then what I like about this is Jennifer says, "No, I didn't. I have a selfie. I was in San Diego, and here's I could prove it." And then whips out a selfie.
I love neither side proves anything in that situation whatsoever.
Right.
I also like this moment because when Caitlin confronts Jennifer in front of the class and she mentions like, "Oh, I didn't do porn," and the whole class is like, "Wait, what?" And like how they didn't know about it, so now everyone knows that she allegedly did porn.
And then I love Jennifer's like, because Caitlin's like, "You photoshopped that," and Jennifer's like, "It has a timestamp."
Well, let me show it to the class here, and let's see if they can decide whether this is photoshopped or not.
So then Caitlin storms out of class, and David tries to go after her, but then Jennifer stops. So then we see them. They're in Caitlin's car. David and Caitlin, and then David's like, "Okay, did you do it?" And Caitlin's like, "Get the hell out of my car. I hate you."
He also said that he risked losing jobs by associating with her. Again, he's a model. He's a young, good-looking guy.
A model.
Even if she actually was in a porn, no one is going to look at him and be like, "Oh, he can't model those clothes because he slept with a porn star." Who cares?
Right. Exactly. So then Caitlin is not messing around. So Caitlin goes to the principal. And so she tells the principal what's going on.
This principal needs a couple acting classes. I don't mean to be mean, but he was low budget.
Oh, yeah. It was very...
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
It's that level. He might be a real principal working on the side. Good for him. Side hustle.
So then He's probably somebody's friend who's like one of the producers. He's like, hey.
I think it's bare bottoms on this thing. That's what I think is going on.
He showed up to shoot a porn, and they're like, "No, you're gonna have to keep your clothes on for this job."
His line. Here's the script.
We'll use that in the movie.
So
the principal's like, "Do I get to hold a baseball bat?"
Right. So yeah, Caitlin tells the principal everything. And so then the principal goes to talk to Jennifer. And Jennifer's like, oh, you know what kind of girl she is. And just starts talking shit about her. And so she's like, and so it looks like the principal is going to side with Jennifer. But he's like, no, I know that Caitlin's a good girl. You're fine. Which I actually kind of like that they didn't drag that out. Like he couldn't act, but he wasn't stupid.
Well, the actor couldn't act,
right?
But he had lines. Yeah.
So then the principal fires Jennifer, and then David he's helping her fill her car, like take her stuff out to the car. Then he sees Caitlin, and he apologizes, but it's too late. She moved on because now that she's hot,
rebound.
Right? Now that she's hot, hey, why let this go to waste?
No.
And this is like a day later, by the way. She has a new boyfriend.
Yeah,
like
next
day.
Next day.
Well, don't let any grass grow under your feet. Go, girl.
She didn't even have time to hook up the hose to the spigot to water the lawn.
Right?
Exactly, yeah. Man. No lifetime.
So then Jennifer takes David out for drinks. Well, for coffee, but he had like Mexican coffee, which is
No, they call it Spanish coffee, and I like does Spanish coffee generally have alcohol in it?
I don't think so. Isn't it just like some spices in there?
It's like a latte because I used to order Spanish coffee, and it was basically like like a latte. It was like a frothy coffee.
And they're ordering their next round the second they take the first sip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
But I don't think the people who wrote this movie know what Spanish coffee is.
I don't think so.
Because Irish coffee has booze in it.
Yes.
Irish coffee. Yeah.
So then she's like getting him drunk, and then so then Jennifer asks David to help her move her stuff to the loft.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she gets him up to the loft, she gives him more drinks. And then they hook up.
Mm.
And this is like the longest makeout scene ever. Like from every angle, from every, and then at first, the way that they showed her when he was like in the background, she had that look on her face. I thought she might have been filming, herself, but she wasn't.
Oh, I think I thought that as well. There's at one point
because she was looking over, because she lived in this loft and she was like looking over the rail. So I thought like there was a hidden camera.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that.
So David wakes up the next day. He has a horrible hangover.
By the way, why isn't his mom freaking out at this point? Like, her son didn't come home.
Right.
And they're still on good terms at this point, right?
And that's true. It's not like he could lie and say, I'm staying at Tony's house, because he didn't have any friends other than Caitlin.
Yeah.
So he wakes up. He's got this huge hangover. Jennifer runs in. She says that she got this job taking pictures of models in different countries. And so it's going to be like a whirlwind trip around the world. And she invites David to go with her. And then he tells his mom, and his mom's like, hell no. And then, no, he's talking to Caitlin, because who said that he can buy you a new house? Caitlin said that to her, right?
No.
Yeah, because
Jennifer said
Caitlin,
that to the mom. She's basically saying hey, this is a great opportunity for David. He's going to make a lot of money. Like, he can really take care of you. He could buy you a new house. And mom took offense to that. Like, hey, what's wrong with this house? Which I see both sides of that. I actually in that moment don't think Jennifer meant that as a dig. She just meant that as like, he could buy you nice things. You should be happy about that.
Right. And so then Jennifer's like, well, let him decide. Now, at this point, he just turned 18. He's an 18-year-old boy who's having sex for the first time. Who do you think he's going to choose?
Pretty much.
Like, that's not even a question. Who do you think he's going to choose? So then they're having a picnic, right? Because that's what you do when, like, you tell your mom you can't talk. You go to have a picnic.
With wine,
and then
out in public, with a minor.
Right. But now he's 18.
Still a minor.
Technically 18.
He's not old enough to drink.
Oh, true. Because statutory-wise, 18 is like the legal age.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's drinking.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I think it depends on the state.
Mm-hmm. Right. But it's
inappropriate.
This was LA. So no, it was definitely a crime. California.
Yeah. I just meant the drinking age. I thought it was funny, like, that they kept just flouting the legal drinking age in this movie. Like, nobody seemed to care about it.
So then he calls Caitlin, but then Caitlin has no time for him because Caitlin's boyfriend's coming over. But the boyfriend comes over and utters those words that no one wants to hear. We have to talk.
His first words of the movie.
But see, I didn't know about you guys, but I was a little scared for a second because they were in her bedroom, and I thought it was going to go a whole other way. Like, I thought, like, maybe he was like going to bring up the porn thing. So I'm glad it actually went the way that it went. He dumped her.
Right.
But Caitlin, one thing I like about Caitlin is, like I said, Caitlin does not let any grass go under her feet. If she got dumped, and she hopped right on the phone. She hopped right on the phone and called David.
I like that you view her as being, like, empowered and, like, look at her making all these moves, whereas I see it as, like, she's kind of lonely and desperate, and, like, she can't be alone by herself for a minute.
Not for a minute.
No.
Because I look at it kind of like, screw you. I got men waiting for me.
Some people like that.
Yeah, I don't know how empowered it is when she's crying and she says, "He dumped me like a wad of gum."
I love that.
They love their candy analogies in this movie, don't they?
Lots of them.
Like a wad of gum. I wouldn't dump a wad of gum.
Oh my God. Okay, so they're talking, and then Jennifer walks up and grabs the phone and, like, he's my boy. You stay away from my man. And then, and by the way, David is at this point starting to question the whole job thing, because I guess 2 weeks had gone by, and he's like, okay, so when is this job? You said that it was going to start right away. That was 2 weeks ago. We're still here. And they start fighting. Jennifer and David start arguing. and they argue, but then they have makeup sex because Jennifer knows how to play him like a fiddle. She knows. She just says, okay, have at it. And then he's like appeased. And then Caitlin goes one further. She's like, oh yeah, well, I'm calling your mother. And she calls her mom. And then the mom finally has common sense and does what everybody should have done in this movie. She Googles her.
Right.
Like, the mom has been suspicious of Jennifer the entire time and just now realized, like, oh, I should just look her up online.
Right. And you Google her.
Never watched one of these movies.
And but then after sex, Jennifer's still not appeased because Jennifer's like, you're still thinking about her. I could tell. And then David is overwhelmed. He goes outside. His mother shows up. His mom's like, this bitch is crazy. But of course, he's an 18-year-old boy who's getting regular sex. So you know what he's thinking with. So
I like the mom is like, I like the mom is like, she's like crazy. She's this, she's that. He's like, well, why does she keep getting work? He's like, well, I guess she's incredibly talented, but
true. But we all know crazy people, especially in entertainment, who continue to work. So that's actually not far off the mark. So the next day, they're having a photo shoot. But then I guess David's not giving it his all because Jennifer gets mad because he's smiling. And she's like,
right.
They want dark and edgy, and you're smiling.
He's not being smoldering.
No. He's probably exhausted because, you know. So then David runs into the bathroom and he texts Caitlin. And then he comes out of the bathroom and she's like waiting, like, what are you doing? And at this point, I'm sure he's like, oh my God, what did I do? She just won't leave me alone. He's like, geez, I can't even though I was being sneaky, I can't even go to the bathroom without her, like, you know, getting on my jock about the whole thing.
Getting on my jock? Are you in the 80s now too?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to confess, I heard that line on The Real Housewives of New York.
And Les thinks that is a legitimate reason, but we'll have to let that go.
Because what did the Real Housewives said to the other Real Housewives? Get off my job. Okay, so then they start fighting, and then David's like, okay, I'm sick of this. I don't want to, you know, I'm done. And then she starts, like, so they start fighting, and then she tries to use her powers once again to have more sex with him because she knows. It's kind of like, did you guys ever see that movie Mighty Joe Young? And it was about a gorilla. It was about a gorilla, and then it was kind of like a King Kong ripoff. And it was about this gorilla, and so every time his owner would open this music box, it would play Beautiful Dreamer, and he'd like calm down. So her sex was kind of like that, where she knew okay, he's acting up. I just have to have sex with him, and he'll be fine.
Pavlov's horny dogs. Got it.
Right. But this time, he tried to have sex with her, and he's like, no. And then she got extra pissed. So he's packing, and then he reaches up in the closet, and he finds the baseball bat from the photo shoot that was on the porn cover. So then he was like, so then he starts packing. Which he was dumb because you know your girlfriend's crazy. You don't leave a bat unattended with a crazy girlfriend. Don't you watch Lifetime? So he's packing, and then all of a sudden, she hits him in the head with a bat. And then...
No, she hits him like... Did she hit him in the head? I don't think she gets him in the head.
Or his back. It was from behind.
Maybe. Yeah.
So then Caitlin gets a text. And the text is like, hey, I'm leaving this bitch. Come and help me pack. So then Caitlin calls his mom. And and the mom's like, oh my God, I'm so happy. We can have pizza. So then
she starts slicing the tomatoes.
She starts slicing the tomatoes, but she has a premonition.
Also, the mom had warned Caitlin about going over there, and Caitlin's like, "No, it's okay."
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Jennifer's not there.
But yeah, the mom has like a premonition.
Yeah.
And so then Caitlin shows up. Jennifer has the gun that we saw earlier in the movie in the drawer. Okay, so then this next part, all right. What did you guys think of this next part coming up?
It was delightful.
Madness.
Because she has like a whip or like a what?
She's got David strung up. She lives in this loft, and she's got David strung up by rope, hanging from his wrists from the beams. And then when Caitlin comes in, she's got this big, long, like electrical cable, really thick, and she makes Caitlin start torturing David with it. And Caitlin doesn't hesitate, by the way. She basically says, like, hey, you're going to have to do this or I'm going to kill you. And she does not even hesitate. She just grabs the thing and just starts beating the shit out of him.
All right, I'll do it.
Right.
Hard, whipping hard.
Yeah.
But then she whips out a box cutter. And she gives Caitlin the box cutter. She's like, okay, so you beat the crap out of him. So now I want you to cut his face. But Caitlin has a limit.
Yeah.
Because she was like, she's like, I'll whip him, but I'm not cutting his face. Because Jennifer was telling her, like, make it good, make a big star. Like, she was, like, egging her on.
I think she even said, like, I want to see 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, she says, I want something medieval. I want 1,000 cuts from his forehead to the base of his neck.
Oh,
like, she
kind of look like, what's his name from Hannibal? Gary Oldman.
So then Caitlin's like, I'm not cutting his face. You're just going to have to shoot me. And she shoots her. Jennifer shoots her.
Bang.
She barely gets the sentence out of Jennifer's like, all right.
Okay, I'll shoot you. Shoots people in the elbows. And
then I was like, well, she said she's going to shoot. She said she's going to do it. So then Jennifer gives her monologue, you know, you ruined everything. We could have been together.
Not only does she give her monologue, she like turns on like modeling music. She basically had Alexa start playing a murder playlist while she gives her monologue.
That's her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And so then Caitlin wakes up, right? And even though she's been shot, she uses her good arm, she uses her good hand to like start cutting the rope. So while Jennifer is giving her monologue, Caitlin is like using the box cutter on the rope.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
It takes a while too.
yeah,
Going on and on and on.
exactly.
Like some rope.
So then, but then
She's like a
the rope-
magician cutting the woman in half in the box.
right?
Imagine if the blade was that dull, she was gonna have a hard time cutting up David's face.
Right. Yeah.
So then the rope snaps. David falls on the ground. Then David and Jennifer start fighting over the gun, and as they show David's back, there are no marks.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
No, I didn't.
There were no marks on his back.
That's great.
His back was silky smooth. And so
It was probably that filter.
but then, right? So then Jennifer gets the gun. She shoots David. And then she's going to shoot them both. And then all of a sudden, she gets stabbed by the mother. The mother has the kitchen knife, which has the knife. Now, okay, was it her knife from the kitchen or was it Jennifer's knife?
I think it was probably her
I
knife
think it was
from
her
the
knife.
kitchen. Yeah. When she got her
Because it looks a lot
premonition,
alike.
Yeah.
when she got her premonition when she was cutting the tomatoes, she probably had like the thought bubble of like, I'm gonna need this knife.
Right. So the mom isn't stupid. She Googles and she brings weapons like she's supposed to.
But didn't
So
call the
then-
cops.
No, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
She calls the cops after she stabs Jennifer.
Right.
And then I wrote, Mom not only stabbed Jennifer, Mom stabbed the shit out of her because she did not let up. That was one of the best stabbings I have ever seen.
Stabbed in the back.
Not as violent as Caitlin's whipping of David, but still violent enough.
Right. So then
Heroic.
So then so then Jennifer dies, and then he looks at his mom and says, I messed up, didn't I? And she's like, yes, you did. Now, I wonder, do you think he got grounded? So then they do the usual trope 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see David and Caitlin. They're all happy. They've recovered. They're beautiful. Walking through high school. 2 beautiful people. They're back together. And then the principal walks out, and the principal's like, there's a Beverly Hills agent that called me, and they're looking for you. And of course, David's kind of like, I think I'm done, which who could blame him?
Mm-hmm.
But then the principal's like, no, wait a minute. You need to not be done because this is like a legit agent. And so then he sends Caitlin, like he's like, Caitlin, will you let us talk? And Caitlin walks away. And then David walks up to her, and Caitlin's like, so did you do it? What did you say? And he just said, what do you think? And that was the end. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think we're ever going to find out.
I'm a little uncomfortable that the high school principal is fielding calls from the agent who's just randomly calling his school saying, can I get one of your students' numbers?
Right?
I don't think agents are calling him.
And I'm pretty sure he only wanted to be a photographer in the first place. So why would he be a model? Why would he be getting calls like this? Why would he even entertain them? Obviously, he became a major model, but
right.
I think he probably said yes. I think that's what.
Because I bet he got a lot of press.
Because he was kind of cocky. Because he was kind of cocky. Like, what do you think I said? Yeah, I'm going to do it.
So
he got a lot of press.
The potential association with an alleged porn star could ruin his career, but not so much all the association with murder. Got it.
Right. But he survived, so he could have gotten, a couple of reality shows, a reenactment show. He's probably on the news. The View.
He gets his own people reenacting his situation.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Show.
Yeah, you don't want to. Don't wish him an acting job where he's in a reenacting show.
They probably talked about him on the ID channel.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Wow, this is quite a success story.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay, good.
I loved this movie. David, you did very well.
Yes, bravo.
Very, very glad you like this movie. I was very much looking forward to talking about it. I don't know anybody else who has seen this other than me and my fiance, and we loved it. I mean, it's so ridiculous. This is one of the more ridiculous movies I've seen in recent years.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that you had this is maybe the best Lifetime movie you've ever seen. Lifetime has a bunch of these bonkers movies. This is their bread and butter. They sprinkle in some of they rip from the headlines ones, and around the holidays they get a little more warm and fuzzy. But mostly it's murder and slutty people, and it's amazing.
And the thing is, the thing is with this one, because there's the Killer franchise, the Psycho franchise, and then another franchise, but they each have their own. They each have their own tropes. So this follows the Killer trope.
Yeah,
pretty much. The only thing that was missing. I was getting mine mixed up. Because then they also have this other universe, The Wrong. And in the Wrong movies, it's always Vivica A. Fox, Eric Roberts,
Tracy Nelson,
and Tracy Nelson. Always. And it's literally like a company, and in each movie, they take turns being the villain. So, anyway, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But before we go, David, how can we find you?
Sure, yeah. Well, you can find Piecing It Together on any of the major podcast apps. Just search for us. We're also on social media at Piecing Pod. And we have a Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies that we talk about on the show. So check all that out and piecingpod.com.
Nice. If you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook at Les Kurkendaal-Barrett or on Instagram at Kurkendaal. Kurkendaal is spelled Kurkendaal, or you can actually find the podcast on Instagram at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast, or you can find it on Facebook at A Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. Jason.
Yeah, and so as you are subscribing to the PC It Together podcast, give David 5 stars, give us 5 stars. It helps more people find both our shows. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Look for Kurt Fitzpatrick on Facebook. My Facebook page is public, a lot of public, and I did a live performance of a show called Behind Every Great Mariska Hargitay is a Great Kurt Fitzpatrick. And it's on, I did a Facebook Live, but it's on there for the public, for everyone to see. So scroll down and watch that.
Speaking of which, I'm going to be doing my show, my one-man show, Walking While Black in Moscow, on April 28th on Zoom. So if you are interested, hit me up, send me a message on Facebook, and I will send you the link.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm also doing Facebook Live on April 16th, 8 o'clock Eastern. That's the plan. I'm going to be doing a Campus Martius, The Hunt for Eric Roberts. So I'm going to present a...
Wait, you have a new episode?
I've got a whole season I wrote. Just only one has been produced. So I'm going to be presenting that script. Yeah.
Awesome.
For those of you who don't know, that Kurt has a TV show. Like he did a pilot for a TV show.
Yeah, that's on Campus Martius TV. I say Campus Martius, but CampusMartiusTV.com. You could watch that. Yep.
Anyway, I have to go because I still have like a couple of episodes of Days of Our Lives to watch before I binge more. Are you guys watching Schitt's Creek?
The finale was on last night. It was amazing.
David, have you watched it? No?
No, I love everybody involved in it. I just have never gotten around to starting it, but I'm going to one of these days.
I will say, David, I tried getting into it like 3 or 4 times, and I didn't love it. And somebody said, jump ahead to season 2. They get more into the characters, and I did. And now it is one of my favorite shows of all time. It is fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen like. I'm sorry, go ahead, Les.
No, go.
No, I said I've seen a couple episodes, and it is because I loved SCTV. Like, when I was a kid, I loved that show. And I forget this guy's name, but there's an actor who was on SCTV years ago, and they put him on this, and I hadn't seen him in like 25 years, and this guy is still funny after all these years. But he played a character on the show. I can't remember.
It's
who
probably
it is.
if it's an older guy, it's probably Bob, who's he's the mechanic in town, and he's got this wife Gwen. And we only see Gwen in one episode, but they constantly refer to her, and it's pretty funny.
I think that's him, yeah. And he was so funny on SC, and he played like minor roles on SCTV, but like years later, that guy still got it. Still funny.
Yeah. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Schitt's Creek. I am obsessed with Moira, as you can imagine.
She has an outfit in the finale that, oh my god, is hands down the best outfit she wore in the entire series. It like they went on a high note for sure.
I love a good wig. Anyway, once again, David Rosen, thank you so much thank you first of all for recommending this movie because it was fantastic, and thank you for being on the show. And please, we would love to have you back sometime. Please come back, definitely.
Absolutely. Thanks so much,
thank you, David.
You guys.
Yes, thank you
all
very
right.
much.
And I'll talk to the rest of you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.